If you are of a certain age, you'll harken back to a day where you were listening to the radio and they'd play a song you really liked. So what you have to do, you had to quickly grab your tape, put it in, press play, record, and then record the song. But sometimes you wouldn't just do that for yourself. Sometimes you'd want to make one for a friend, significant other, a hopeful significant other. You never knew who. You just wanted to make a mixtape. And today we are going to look at Mixtape from Talon Strike Studios. I'm going to show you how it plays and then my thoughts on it. So stick around for all of that. Alright, here we have Mixtape set up. I will say that these are prototype components. This is a prototype copy. But to set up, you are going to separate the song cards into 3 different stacks based on color, shuffle them up, and this is considered the radio. Next, you're going to determine a start player randomly. We like to just take the number of players, which is typically 2, put this as one of them, put another one, shuffle them up, and have someone choose it, but you can do it however you so choose. That person will get that first player marker one, you can tell because of the star on it, a mixing board, then everyone else will get a separate cassette marker that does not have the star on it, and their own mixing board. Then everyone also gets a little marker of each color and puts it on 0 on the 4 tracks, your volume, your bass, your mid, and your treble. The mixing board will go off to your right, the cassette on your left. You're going to leave room for 5 cards between the 2 and for 2 rows. Next, you're going to shuffle the crush cards and deal each person 1 crush that they can put off to the side. Just know you will be sticking cards underneath it. After that, each person grabs a card of each color, and then you are ready to begin. And this will be your hand. Gameplay will be taken over rounds until the end game is triggered, which is someone has recorded 10 songs, 5 on side A and 5 on side B. Then you'll finish out the current round, play one more round, and then total up your points. Your cards have various different information on them. You are going to have your mood, which is based on the color, the red, the pink, and the green. You have different genres, rock, pop, hip-hop, blues, and electronic, which is denoted by this symbol. And then some cards have a theme, which you'll see on your crush card as well. And I'll get into that when I get into final scoring. Next, you have a recording cost up here in the corner. You have a point value on this larger volume dial. And then a extra value for harmonies, which is what colored card it wants next to it. So this wants blue, so that would be 2 points if those were next to each other. After that, you have down in this section a record ability. When you record the song, you will trigger that ability. Down here is a special ability. If there's a little play icon, that'll happen when you play, which I'll go into in a minute. And here is the action. The star is a passive ability that will always be in effect as long as you have that recorded on your tape. In addition to all that, you do have a song title and artist written on here, and they are plays on regular songs, like you have Laser by Heck, Absolve Me by Ryan Atoms, and Weep For You by Rodashi. Again, lots of cards on here. Next, you have your mixing board over here. The dials will be getting pushed up and will be giving you points and will be benefiting you with your abilities and the way you can do things throughout the game, which I'll get into as I tell you the different steps that you can do. So, when you start your turn, you are going to discard down to your hand limit. Your hand limit starts at 5, as is shown in the purple one. At the bottom it says hand, so you start with a hand limit of 5. If you have more than 5, you'll discard down until you have 5. Next, you are going to do one of 3 actions. The first thing you can do is you can listen to the radio, which is you are going to draw cards from either the top of any deck or from their discard pile if they have one. The amount of cards you draw is based on your blue. You start off being able to draw 2, eventually you can get up to 3, 4, or even 5 if your marker gets up that high. The next thing you can do is you can record a song. To record a song, you're going to look at this number here, and that is how many cards you have to discard from your hand. So to play this one, I would put it down, and I have to discard 2 cards to the respective discard piles. The green one, if you get up to this level, will actually give you a 1 card discount. So had my green been all the way up to here, it would have only cost me 1 card to discard. The third thing you can do is you can play. Let me get this kind of set up here. Now what happens is when you play, you are going to look to see what side you're on. This instance, side A, and that is where you'll be building out your tracks depending on the side of cassette you are on. So when you play, you're going to look and you're going to move up your dials based on how many of the cards you have. If I had 2 green, that would go up twice. You then are going to activate the play abilities from left to right on your cassette. What we like to do to help keep track is we'll move this across. That's a passive, so nothing. That's a passive, so nothing. You get to this one, and this is draw 2 cards. Again, you can draw any of them. And then once you get to the end, the cassette flips over, and now you are working on side B. So now if you went to go play a card and record, you'd be recording on side B. One other thing I will mention is on a side, you can always record over a previous song. You'll just pay the difference. So if I had this song on there right now and I wanted to record this one, this normally costs 2, this costs 1, so this would only cost me 1 to replace that song. So again, you're going to be going back and forth until one person has 10 songs in front of them, 5 on A, 5 on B. Finish out that round, play one more round, and then you get into the final scoring. Final scoring consists of a few different things. The crush card. So what your crush card shows is a certain number of points per a theme symbol that you have. In this instance, the artist. So I have one of those, so I'd be getting 3 points. These numbers here will eventually denote how many of each symbol is in which color deck for the blue, the green, and the pink. That way you know which ones you might want to focus on to get that symbol. Your next thing is you are going to get 3 points if these 2 symbols are adjacent to each other. It can be boombox, rock hand, or rock hand, boombox. However, one symbol can only be used once, so if it went boombox, rock hand, boombox, you would only get 1 set of 3. The other thing is love notes, which I'll get into and explain here in a moment. Right now, you'll see this action here with the little squiggly line. What happens with that is if you write a love note, you take a card from your hand, and you just stick it under your card. At the end of the game, you're going to count up how many you have and get points based on that. Next, you're going to get points based on your songs. The first thing you're going to look at is the base value of each song. You'll add up all those. Then you'll add up all of your harmonies if you were able to harmonize. So this would not be a harmony because this wanted a blue card. This would because it wanted a blue card, so I get 2 points. After that, you're going to look at your mixer board and get points based on where you are at or above. So if my volume was at there and that was there, we'll move that there and this to here. I'd be getting 3, 4, 7, 8 points. Most points wins. Let's get on to what the thoughts are. And that is how you play mixtape. Alright, first thing I'm going to say is that we've been excited for this game for quite a while. Talon Strike has been putting it out on Twitter. We've been following them, seeing all the cards they're showing, kind of the color scheme, the way things integrate with each other, the way that the little levers go up, the way the cards are, all the cool names. Some of them are puns, some of them are just, you're really trying to figure out how they are. So we've been excited for this for quite some time. So we were happy and excited to get our hands on it. And I will say, I am glad we did because we thoroughly enjoyed this one. A little bit of spoiler there, we really enjoyed this game. But what are some of those things that we did enjoy about it? The first thing that I really enjoyed was, for a small, quick game, there are really agonizing decisions you need to do. Because you want to play through the cards so you can push your little dials up to get the discount, have a bigger hand limit so you can do more stuff with your cards, or to be able to draw more cards that really kind of fish for that thing you want. However, if you're playing it, then you're not recording any songs, you're not getting the cards initially, so you have to really kind of build up that engine first before you really start running it through. And then trying to make sure you're laying the cards out in the right way, because you might get to, I can write 2 love notes, but I didn't get to draw any cards, so I have no cards, so now that's a wasted action. Now I'm on my B side, so it's going to be at least a couple turns so I can do that to get the cards. So being able to really figure out where do you want to put those cards and trying to make sure you have the harmonies. So the amount of stuff that you have to keep track of is just fascinating for, just like I said, a small, fairly simple game of you're either going to draw cards, you're going to put cards out, or you're going to go through your engine. That's all you're going to do. But to get there is where the main crux of this is, do I have that harmony and focus on the points, even though that card's not going to build my engine, that card's not going to be something I really want to do, but I still need it out there for that. Or looking for those themes to kind of make sure you have enough of those on your thing to score points. Being able to write love notes, because love notes are using more cards from your hand. Well, your hand is also used for that. So how you manage your hand, because you might have a handful of stuff you want to record, but you're not going to be able to put it all out because you need to spend it to put other stuff out. The other thing I like with that is the whole fact that you don't have to discard down to your hand limit till the start of your turn. So the fact that some of the powers do let you do stuff off turn, like write a love note when your opponent records, records. Or if they listen to music, you get to do something. So being able to do that, so you can have that, so when it comes to your turn, you're at your hand limit, and you didn't waste the cards by discarding them, and then now you're going with less than 5 cards or whatever your hand limit is. I really like that touch in there. It adds that cool element of cool. Also, it kind of takes down the downtime, because then the person has until their turn comes around to figure out what they want to discard, and they're not tying up someone's turn, waiting on them to figure out what they discard. Seeing as you can draw from the discard, it might be an important decision. So being able to wait until the next person's turn kind of eliminates that downtime element there as well, which is a nice touch with it. As I was saying, there's a lot of things to track with that crush card. You have to write the love notes. You want to make sure you get the themes. You're trying to keep an eye on the genres and make sure that they're next to each other. So even again, though it's just quick, you're only going to have 10 cards, being able to maximize those in relation to your crush card. The one thing that I enjoyed quite a bit with it was that Bri was getting distracted a lot by trying to figure out the song titles. So it's funny watching her draw the cards, really focusing, do you need to know what it does? No, I'm just trying to figure out the song title. So that is a really cool element in this game, trying to figure out the song titles, as I'm sure you've been trying to as the cards have been coming across here. The one thing I will say is there is quite a bit of iconography in this game on the cards. So you will have to make sure you get that. It does start flowing after you see it for a while, but it is a lot of iconography to get hit with for your first play. But after the first play, it definitely becomes second nature to the people. And the fact they're able to reuse stuff throughout the iconography, so you can tell, all right, so this means that. If you see a little person next to it, that usually means the other player. So it's do this with the other player to do this. There was a couple of cards that we weren't quite sure with, but then once we looked at other iconography, we put it together, all right, so this means to do this to go to that. So that is one thing I will give the warning to, is the amount of iconography. So if that is something that is a little bugaboo for you, just know that it is there, but they do have a nice list of what it all means. Just wanted to give a heads up on that, because that was definitely one of the things we noticed in our play. Overall, like I said, super enjoyed this one. This one, if this was coming out this year for sure, this could be on the top 10 of our games from this year based on the prototype that we played. So we are looking forward to the campaign and seeing what they have in store for this one. That campaign, I will include a link down below. Go ahead and head over there, check out and see what they have. While you're down there, if you want to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to be alerted when I do other videos. We may have something else planned for this game. Ring that bell to find out what it is. Also, go ahead and comment what you think is cool about this game. And if you figure out any of the song titles, let us know down below. And until next time, make the perfect mixtape.